Yep. And then I continued to do it out there, and then just when I was kind of part of the scene, we moved here.
Now, what brought you here?
Um,
Because this is legitimately the other side of the country.
and a comedy desert, kind of.
A comedy desert. It's like a comedy pit hole. There's a couple guys. Yeah, there's a couple guys here or gals that are doing good things, but for the most part, this is not a city for comedy anymore. It's fucking fractured. I will say, Carl, the weather has to be much better in San Diego than this shithole.
It was for sure, but perfectly honest with you, Johnny, San Diego was breaking me financially.
Okay.
It is such an expensive city to live in. Our apartment was an 800 square foot, 2-bedroom apartment, and they were taking our rent to almost $2,500 a month.
And what year was this?
This is 3 years ago.
Oh, God.
And it wasn't like it was Ocean View, or it was in a part of San Diego called Mission Valley, which is just strip malls and strip malls and apartments.
For $2,500 a month, you could live like a goddamn king here.
Yeah. And my parents had passed, both of them, left me in a position financially that we could make the move without having a job here. And our daughter had graduated college, wasn't going to live in San Diego with us. She was moving to Boston. So my wife finally pulled the trigger. I've been trying to get back for years. And we knew where we wanted to come, and it was here.
Okay.
I get this. You know,
Yeah.
as shitty as Pittsburgh can be, I love this city, and I get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm part of the fabric here.
For as much shit as I talk on the city, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's because I was born here,
Right.
and I know it, but it does make sense for all the things I talk shit on. These are my people.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like, comedy-wise, it was going back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Natrona Heights, which is way the hell up 28. I'm 56.
Yeah.
I am not dragging my ass all over downtown Pittsburgh to go to open mics.
Yeah. No, I can understand that.
It's that's the open mics is a young man's game.
It's brutal.
I was fortunate to meet you on an actual show.
What was it? The Blind Pig, right?
The Blind Pig.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is going to label me a comedy heretic.
Oh boy, I'm excited to hear it
forever.
now.
I don't buy into open mics.
As far as
I don't think anybody gets good at open mics. It is the time-honored tradition. It's if somebody posts and you see it on Pittsburgh Comedy, hey, I want to try stand-up comedy. The first comment will be, go to open mics. Go to all the open mics. Go to every open mic.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an open mic being held in a phone booth and it's attended by one meth addict, you need to be in that room. Open mics are terrific because of contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I really, truly believe you get good by doing comedy in front of an audience, not a bunch of similarly bored open micers who are sitting back there scribbling in their notebooks while you're trying to break out your new joke.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I realize that there's going to be probably comedians with torches and pitchforks outside the door of the podcast studio here.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say, I'm not going to come out and say you're completely wrong, because I get what you're saying.
Right.
I say I personally, especially when I first started, needed open mics just to get more comfortable being on a stage,
right,
being in front of people. And open mics help me understand the art of bombing. Because once you can understand that and get comfortable in that silence, when a joke doesn't hit at a regular show, I don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree because I got significantly better once I started getting on shows. But I feel like there was a level of improvement I had to make at the mics before they would give me the opportunity at shows.
I get it.
So it's like an incremental growth, and then it compounds on bigger shows, and how it snowballs.
And I don't want to say hatred, my distaste.
I love the word hatred.
My distaste for open mics, in a lot of cases, makes you really sound like an arrogant prick, and and I'm not. I am not going to sit here and say I'm the next Bill Burr and all that. I'm struggling to get on shows anyway.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll drive across the state for 10 minutes probably, and not even knowing if I'm getting paid or not. But it's just the thing that it really limited me to is that I didn't make a lot of contacts. Unless I'm actually on a card with somebody, nobody knows who the hell I am. Fortunately, the guys I do know in Pittsburgh are people who are getting booked an awful lot, and that's helped. I lived out one of my bucket list dreams for being on Aaron Kleiber's show at the Improv. I'd never played at Improv, and that was because we were on a card together. With Zach Miller came home, did a show at the Club Cafe, and Aaron was on that, and I got booked for the Improv show. Well, I got booked, and then the pandemic happened, so I actually did the show a year later.
Yeah.
But I met you, which is I'm on a podcast. I've worked with Marcus.
I seen that you guys had a show recently.
Yeah, Marcus and I have worked. I've worked with Marcus more than anybody because basically you call Marcus and he's like, okay.
Marcus comes up on this show so damn much. We run the commercial for MC Auto Detail every episode. He is one of my closest friends in comedy.
Right.
Absolutely love that guy.
He's just a great guy.
And I can't sell him enough. Great comedian, funny dude, businessman, hell of a businessman, phenomenal fucking husband and father.
Oh.
Cannot say enough nice things about Marcus, even though he likes to talk shit on my music choices, and his old ass looks like Michael Irving. So fuck you, Marcus, but we love you.
But, and now I'm starting to actually, because of some of those connections, I'm actually getting to know some of the, you hate to use the term, like the next rung down producers.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I met Wolfie at the...
Wolfie, great guy. He was just on here.
I met him at a show at the Blind Pig, and we're going to do something together.
Wolfie is one of those guys that he's an older guy, but when you talk to him, I guess the best word I could describe is ornery. He seems like just like there's a fucking Dennis the Menace in there trying to get out.
You expect him to yell for people to get off your lawn.
Yeah. But he gives off a real ornery energy. I love it. It's and you know what? You don't give off the same energy, but you don't give off that crusty old man energy that some people do. And I'm saying this as a compliment.
Despite being a crusty old man.
That didn't come out right. It didn't come out right. But what I'm saying is speaking to you and the interactions I've had with you, you have this youthful, fun energy about you that's not, what people perceive or see in a lot of older comics.
Right.
Because I see comics in their 50s and 60s that aren't famous and are kind of crotchety and bitter. And it's I love it when I can talk to someone because essentially if you're a comic, you're my peer.
Right.
That's not quite that jaded yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I met I'm not going to say his name, but I met a relatively famous comic who I'd heard on the Bob and Tom show, and I was booked on a show with him, and it was really cool for me that I was meeting a comic of his nature. What a prick. Oh, my God. I just wanted to come out and just basically said hello and told him that I was a fan, and he was like, "Please, I'm getting prepared for the show."